What's up, everyone? Toad Slayer 72 here. Let me get my camera worked out. Okay. I'm going to show you how I do the Alberto. You know, I had a video before doing the Alberto knot, but after looking at that video and just thinking about, you know, how I used to tie the knot, the one thing that always bothered me was that the knot would not always come out uniform, and I just couldn't get it to look the same every time, time after time after time when I'm tying it. There'd always be little inconsistencies with it, with just the way that it looked. And I feel like it didn't really matter as far as the strength goes, but I just wanted to figure out what I was doing, the way I was tying it, that made it come out that way, because I feel like it should look the same every time, or at least pretty close to it. So I think I got it dialed in now, and I'll discuss the couple different tweaks I made as I get to that point in the knot. But anyway, I got 20-pound mono, I got 65-pound braid. The mono's my leader material in this case. You know, it could definitely be fluoro. But anyway, you take your leader material and just double it up like that. You're going to create that loop. Now you're coming up from the bottom with your main line through the loop. You pull some out. Now I'm going to wrap it 7 times. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Now I'm going to go back that way another 7 times, kind of crisscrossing with the wraps I have in place already here. And you'll see as I'm tying it, after every couple wraps I have to readjust my grip. I'm going to hold it down here, then I'm going to hold it here, then hold it here. It's just, you know, going back in that direction, I wrap it differently. It's just easier for me. I have more control over it, and that's just how I do it. So 1, 2, 3. Now I'm going to adjust my grip. 4, 5, 6, 7. Now we got 7 wraps there. Now after you do your 7, you're supposed to go back in through that loop. Like when you came in the beginning of the knot, you came up from underneath, and at the end you're going to go down. But if you do it right now, you're kind of taken away from that final wrap there, because you have to come back a little bit, then put it through. So I actually start going over again, and it completes my full 7, then I put it down. That might be common sense, or it might not matter, or I might just be wrong about that, but that's how I do it. Now this is the point here where I changed up my technique. When I draw down on this knot, I do something a little different. First I'm going to moisten it. Now I start out by pulling all 4 lines here, my 2 tags and my 2 standing lines. I guess get it started a little bit. Then I drop the tags. I pull on my main line. Now right here, when I'm pulling on this, I'm drawing it down nice and slow, just watching how it stacks. And now it always seems to bunch up in the middle a little bit. And what I've been doing is, before I get down too tight with it, I kind of back this off a little bit. I kind of almost like pull it apart and create like 2 sides, a right and a left. See, it's bunched up here and it's bunched up there. I'm going to moisten it again. And then I'm going to draw it back down by pulling on the main lines. And I feel like that's helped it look more uniform. Now at this point I'm going to get rid of most of this mono tag here, and I'm also going to give a little tug on it off screen with my teeth here. Oh. Now I think what that does, I think that's another step that's helped me with this knot. I used to think that that tag end was useless, didn't do anything, you didn't have to do anything with the mono, but I think that just makes the 2 mono pieces that are together, I think underneath the braid here, they're kind of twisted together, because when I'm wrapping that knot when I do that first 7 wraps, these 2 double lines, which would be like this, as I'm wrapping, I think they're getting twisted like that a little bit. And when I pull on that tag, I feel like it takes that out. It does something, because I can feel it. So now at this point, I go to my finger savers here. I'm going to wrap these guys. Now you can also use wooden dowels, or actually you could wrap it around a sock or a glove or something. Yeah, I just think it's important to get in this knot as small and compact as you can. You really got to do something extra here as far as cinching it down. You just can't do it with your bare hands. Now also, when you're doing your leader material, don't stack it on top of itself, because you just increase the chance of damaging it, because you're going to pull on this pretty good here to cinch it down. And just roll it out a little. And now off screen I'm also going to pull on the braid tag with my teeth. I'm just giving little tugs there. It's a little steady pressure pull, and I hit it real quick again, and that's it. Now that's coming out more. I can get it looking like that every time now. It's nice and smooth, it's uniform, there's no pieces, there's no points in that knot where it's raised higher than the rest of the knot, like the loops. And I really think it has to do it when you're first drawing it down. When it starts stacking on top of itself and getting bunched up, you got to back it off a little bit and then just pull it again. That little thing is, I think, the key to making it look nice and getting it as small as it can be. So now I'm going to get rid of this mono tag, and you go right down with that all the way, as far as you can get your clippers right to the beginning of that knot. I mean, I think that that's critical into keeping it nice and small too. You don't want anything sticking out, hitting that's your lead edge on your cast, you know, that's hitting your guides and everything. So as smooth as you can make that and low profile you want to. Now on the back side here with my braid tag, I do something a little different. I leave a little piece. What I'm going to do with it is melt it down with this lighter here. I like to shield the rest of the knot with my thumb and just get some flame going real quick. It balls it right down. It fuses the end of that. It might not be necessary, but I just like the way it looks when you're done. It's nice and small, low profile. I mean, this is heavier line. That's a pretty low profile knot. If you do this with light line, I mean, this thing looks like nothing. It's tiny when you use them smaller diameter lines. And speaking of that, if you're going to use smaller diameter lines and use this knot, if you're having trouble when you're doing the 7 wraps, I would suggest just doing more, 9, 10, 11 wraps, because it seems like when you do the less wraps, when you go to draw that down with the thinner line, it comes unraveled. It doesn't hold. So I think you need to incorporate more wraps when you're using that really thin braid, you know, like stuff with like the diameter of like 6, 8, 10 pound test, that really thin stuff. If you're having trouble with that knot, just try incorporating a few more wraps. But I can understand if you don't want to use heat and flame next to your knot. You can also glue this tag in, or you could just leave it. It gets all fuzzy looking, and I just don't like the idea of that. I mean, it probably doesn't matter, but this is how I do it. I want that thing to be as small and clean as possible, and that's about as good as I can get it at this point. So that's it. I hope this helps someone. If you have any suggestions or comments or whatever about how you tie the knot, or you know, just want to talk about it, that's fine. I mean, I'm always evolving, you know. This just doesn't sit still for forever, you know. There's always little tweaks and little things you can do. So if you got something else you want to share with me, go right ahead. But I like the point I'm at now with tying this knot. Like I said, the big thing was just to get it look better and just have it be as compact and uniform throughout the whole length of the knot. So, and that's what I'm able to achieve now for the most part. So there you go. Take care.